I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I'm not going to be here for too long, but I wanted to jump in and to give you a brief on something that I thought was interesting enough to talk about. It has to do with LA Lakers star Demarcus Cousins. Demarcus Cousins is in some big trouble right now. Apparently, his situation where he was recorded threatening to put a bullet in the head of his child's mother. That's catching up with him. The police are now looking for him. There has been an arrest warrant that has been signed. That's where they're looking to lock him up and deal with him, as a criminal. And and so anyway, I'm going to go in and grab with this story, but I want to welcome everybody to drboycetv.com. This is the home for intelligent Black people, where we have intelligent Black conversations about issues that happen in the Black community. I also want to remind you guys, don't forget that the All Black National Convention is happening next month. So if you want to get your hotel, the discounted hotel rooms are going to be unavailable in a week. So if you want to go ahead and lock yourself in, go to allblacknationalconvention.com and get your space in the hotel. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you, Darnell Edmond, for the donation. I appreciate it very much. Those of you who also want to support intelligent Black media, we'd love to have you as a patron. Feel free to go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. Shout out your city. Shout out the city that you're from. Shout out your city, your business, or both. Go ahead and do the shout outs. If you're on Facebook, please share it to your page so we can fight the de-boosting algorithm to make sure good, intelligent Black conversations get out there. All right. So here's the situation. All right. So basically, Demarcus Cousins is, if you don't follow basketball, Demarcus Cousins is this big, strong athlete that's out of, he went to the University of Kentucky, where I went to college. And so I followed him since he was at Kentucky. And he was a great player. He was very talented. He's made tens of millions of dollars in the NBA, maybe even 100 million or more. He's been a good player in the NBA, nice, solid player. But he's always kind of mean. He always had this kind of mean look. He was always like, and I remember, I don't know, has anybody else ever seen him play and ever kind of looked at him and said, man, okay, he kind of almost looks like a bully. Like he acts like a bully. He does. I'm not going to lie. He does kind of have that bully persona. But I thought that maybe that was just, him trying to be a tough basketball player or whatever. But anyway, there's a situation that emerged basically where he was trying to get his child's mother to let his son come to his wedding. And she said, no, he's not coming to the wedding. And basically he came back and said, something about, I can handle this, take it to another level and put a bullet in your head. And I don't even have to get my hands dirty and all this other stuff. And, and it's controversial, right? I put something up on Twitter about it. Or not Twitter, sorry, Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, the number 1, if you want to go follow that. But anyway, I put something up on Instagram, kind of asking people's opinions. And I was really curious to see what the opinions were on this issue. And now, why does this matter to me? Well, actually, I'm joining the board of a domestic violence shelter down in Inglewood, in Chicago. And, and so I have some strong views on domestic violence and as well as sexual assault, things like that. It's a view where I am very, 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 very conscious about, things like false accusations against Black men. You guys know that. I mean, that's something that I think is overlooked often because we're so busy trying to protect women and white women that we forget that sometimes brothers are victims. I'm also sensitive to domestic issues, baby mama, baby daddy drama, which is kind of a mess. I mean, really, the honest solution is you gotta be real careful about who you have a baby with. But then also, you also have to think carefully about what some men think is okay to do to women. I'm going to tell you like this: if you want my 2 cents, you can't justify assuming that that's him on that tape. You cannot justify this. You don't. I'm sorry. I know he's mad. I know he's stressed out. I know he's upset. But I tell you what, if somebody asks you to do something, you say, no, I'm not doing it. And they say, well, I'm gonna come over and put a bullet in your head. I would probably say that was overkill. Like that was not the right way to respond. You can call your lawyer. You can say, I'll sue you into the ground or whatever you want to do. But, if anybody thinks it's okay, like if they're excusing this, I think you got to be really careful about that because you can't excuse this kind of behavior. Sure, he didn't actually do it. He didn't actually put a bullet in her head, but you just can't say that. You can't tell people I'm going to come and murder you because I'm upset with whatever you just did, because it does happen. You know, there are lots of, I know women who've been murdered by their husbands or by their boyfriends. I know people in this category. So and I don't know if any of you have ever, does anybody know somebody who's been a victim of domestic violence, either a victim of domestic violence or terroristic threatening or extreme harassment or stalking or anything like that? Has anybody known a victim of any of this, or are there any victims in the room? Has anybody ever seen this or gone through it or seen somebody else go through it? You know, it's a problem. I mean, it's a real problem, you know. And so what's going to happen with Demarcus, you know, which tells me he doesn't have good mentors. I wish he, you know, if I was his mentor, I probably would have said, hey, man, this ain't the way to handle it. You know, it ain't like you could tell me like, oh, I just threatened to put a bullet through her head. No, it's like, no, I wouldn't. That's not okay. You can't do that. I probably would have told him, you know, I mean, you have millions of dollars, man. You're the one who's in the position of strength. You know, you're in the NBA. You're making $10 million a year, whatever, $15 million a year. Just go get you a good lawyer and just hammer that shit out. You know, just go hard. You know, I mean, if you want to settle your vendetta that way, that's fine. But I think it's sort of this whole take it to the street gangster shit. Like, I'm telling you, I'm just telling y'all the truth. You know, I talked to Dr. Tommy Whitler today, who's an expert in consumer behavior and psychology. And he talked about the subconscious mind. And what happens is that a lot of this gangster shit that you're getting in your music seeps into the subconscious mind of a lot of our young people. Like, he literally, like, I showed him a Migos video. And I said, so what do you think about this? You know, like, have you ever heard of the Migos? He said, nah, what is that? And I showed him a video and he said, oh, there's lots of subliminal messages in there. Oh, they're you know, basically, you know, get drunk, get high, kill people, buy Gucci, you know, like fuck women, like literally he was pointing out all these subliminal messages. So the reality is that there's a part of our culture where we are getting subliminal messages and our young people are picking up subliminal messages that make them think it's okay to engage in gangster shit. You know, it's fine. I mean, I guess if you a dude on the street that's got nothing to lose, then sure, yeah, whatever. I mean, maybe you just don't care. But you're in the NBA, man. You're playing for the Lakers. Like, you know, the Lakers ain't gonna want to fuck with you now. Ain't no team gonna want to fuck with you. Like, you literally just told somebody on a recording that you want to blow their brains out, dude. Like, ain't nobody gonna want you on. I wouldn't want you on my team. I'd be like, if he gets mad at me, he gonna call me up like, you know, boys, I'm gonna blow your brains out. Like, I don't want to play. I don't know. Tell me, am I stupid? Like, tell me seriously, would you want to play basketball on a team with somebody who gets so mad at people that he threatens to blow their brains out? Like, does anybody, I mean, would you, yes or no, would you want to play on a team with somebody who literally who settles their disputes with bullets and guns and shit? Another guy, this guy was, I honestly, I think he was about the dumbest asshole I ever saw. Gilbert Arenas. I mean, this guy made, I don't know how many millions, tens of millions of dollars in the NBA, and he's in here acting like a damn thug. Like, what the fuck is it about millionaire thugs? Like, you a millionaire in the NBA. Who told you that thugging out is the way you want to live? Like, you can be a strong man without acting like you still out in the streets. You're not in the streets, man. You don't have to live like that. Now, I understand, like, if you have to be a drug dealer, like, I don't judge. Shit, okay, do what you got to do, right? You in the trap. You can't, you know, you 5'4", so you can't really go to the NBA. So you're like, okay, I'm doing what I got to do. And so it means like every now and then I got threatened to put a bullet in somebody's head. I can actually rationalize that, like, because I'm just a rational, calculated person. I'm like, yeah, you probably would have to threaten to put a bullet in his head because that's the only way you're going to incentivize him to make sure that he delivers the money and the dope and like, right? But when you're in the NBA, seriously, like, if you're in the NBA and you thugging out, like, that's like those, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those suburban kids. Yeah, anybody ever seen those suburban kids that want to act gangster? And you live in it like your boy America's, what was it, not America's Most Wanted, Malibu's Most Wanted. Like, you get these, so you ever see these suburban kids that really act like they want to be from the hood, so they start imitating hood-like behavior, and you're like, you stupid motherfucker, you go to private school. Like, you live in a rich neighborhood. You have no problems. You don't have to carry a strap because there's nobody that's trying to kill you. Like, but it's like, nah, I'm keeping it gangster. I'm keeping it 100, nigga. Yeah, motherfucker. Shut up, you idiot. What's wrong with you, man? Like, again, if that's who you are and that's your culture and that's how you have to survive, then I get it. But you're making $15 million a year in the NBA, threatening to put bullets in people's heads. That's not even intelligent or strategic. Like, seriously, I would just say like this, point blank, 100, just keep it 100. If I was a person who was going to do something like that, I wouldn't threaten shit. I wouldn't threaten. I would call my friend and say, I need you to go to her house and let her know that if I don't get my son, it's going to be a problem, right? If I was in that life, if I was about that, I'm not saying I would do that. I wouldn't do that. I don't think that's right at all. But if I was insistent upon making a threat, I'm not going to do it myself. It's like I remember when T.I. got caught up on those gun charges and he got arrested because he was buying all those guns. And I'm not dissing. I'm just because I like T.I. actually. I know people that know him, and this is not a diss. But I could not understand, like, why were you even buying the guns yourself? Can't you get someone else to buy your guns for you? Like, tell me, am I crazy? Am I, ASAP Rocky goes to Sweden, kicks somebody's ass who's clearly harassing him. He didn't deserve to go to jail. I don't like ASAP Rocky, but he didn't deserve to go to jail. And I'm like, why are you fighting? Like, why shouldn't your bodyguards be fighting for you? And they should have put you in an SUV and got you away from the situation. That's what you do if you're protecting a, $50 million, $100 million asset. Like this is money. Like, he's money. We keep the money away from the situation. So if I'm his manager, again, maybe it's because I'm just like, I see it differently because I'm a little bit older than these guys. So it is what it is. But if I were hit there, that's what these motherfuckers need. Seriously. All these young dudes need a mentor around. They need an OG who has some common sense, who can say, this doesn't make any sense. You're not being logical right now. Like, seriously, if I were with ASAP Rocky, I would have told the team, Rocky, get in the car. We're driving you away. The rest of y'all, if y'all want to stay and handle it, that's fine, because we don't care if y'all go to jail. But he needs to show up for his concert because he's about to go coon out for white people and make $1 million a concert or whatever he's going to make, right? Whatever money he was going to make. Like, seriously, like I think that we have to start realizing that that thug life is overrated. And I'm not going to use the term thug life because that has a deeper implication. That's Tupac, and we see Tupac in a different light, right? Even though I'm gonna tell you, I was a big Tupac fan, a huge Tupac fan. But even Tupac, even some of the stuff he got involved in, I just remember thinking, why is he involved in this stuff? Like, isn't he a multi-million-dollar celebrity? But I know what it is. It's like people have this whole keeping it real bullshit. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna be out there in the street myself. I'm gonna be doing it. That's not really how millionaires and billionaires rock. That's not how you do things when you're a boss. When you're mobile, even dope dealers know, if I'm the kingpin, I don't touch the drugs. I don't do any of the transactions. I don't want to be in the room with the dope. I don't want to be connected on any level. I'm going to get other people. I'm going to play chess, not checkers, and I'm going to strategically position people to make sure certain things happen, but I'm not going to be involved myself because I don't need to keep it that real. Right. So I think with Demarcus Cousins, that's what's so strange. But here's what probably happened, right? He's mad, he's emotional, he said something he shouldn't have said, and now he's facing charges. Now, Alabama, they got a warrant out on him. I think that what's going to also happen is that it's going to be deeper than just the warrant. I think he'll get past the warrant, right? I looked it up. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. Please hit the thumbs up button. I looked up the charge for harassing communications. I think they're charging, according to USA Today, they said a warrant's been issued on a misdemeanor domestic violence charge. His ex-girlfriend and mother of his 7-year-old son filed a police report Friday about 2 hours after Cousins threatened to, quote, put a bullet in your fucking head. And what's interesting is that the fact that she recorded that conversation makes me wonder if this has happened before. Like, maybe she's like, okay, he keeps saying these things and I can't prove it, so I'm going to record him. That's another thing you should, be smart about. Like, if you have a lot to lose, here's the deal. If you got a lot to lose, you got to be very careful about everything you do and about being around people who have nothing to lose. Because sometimes people they enjoy catching you on some bullshit. So first of all, I mean, the best solution is to try not to get involved in shit that's going to make you look crazy. But if you do, just know, like, if you say something on the phone, it can be recorded. If you type it in an email or a text, they can save text messages, they can save emails, they can save Facebook messages. So I think that that's another thing I'll probably tell him is like, look, we'll talk later about the fact that I don't think you should be threatening to kill anybody, especially the mother of your child. But even beyond that, from a strategic standpoint, if you have conversations with somebody, just be mindful that because you're a celebrity and you have all this attention, there are people that are going to remember every little thing you do. Like, you go eat at a restaurant, and you're a famous enough person, somebody might keep your damn bill because they're just like, oh my God, this famous person had this bill. I'm not even that famous. And even I know that. Even I have situations every day where people recognize me and they notice little things like I was with Dr. Boyce in the grocery store and he had carrots, lettuce, and candy bars in his basket. Like people will remember shit like that. So I would imagine if I played for the Los Angeles Lakers, that would even be even more magnified. So anyway, Mobile police spokesperson Charlotte M. Solis told USA Today Sports on Thursday that an arrest warrant has been issued. The third degree harassing communications charge was listed on the Mobile Municipal Court website. And here's what it is. So third degree harassing communications, a person commits the crime of harassment if with intent to harass, annoy, or alarm another person, he or she strikes, shoves, kicks, or otherwise touches a person or subjects him or her to physical contact. Let me see here. Third degree harassment in Alabama is third degree domestic violence, which occurs when the defendant commits third degree assault, criminal coercion, harassment, or reckless endangerment, among other crimes, is considered a Class A misdemeanor in Alabama and is punishable with up to 1 year in jail. What I really think about with Cousins is I think that his big problem is that they're going to probably make an example out of him. There is the court of law, and then there's the court of public opinion. The court of law, he might be able to fight a lot of that, right? He's got lawyers and money and all that, right? And it's Alabama. Let's just be clear. Alabama's not all that progressive in almost anything that matters, right? Alabama's not a bad place. But sometimes, I mean, I'm sorry to people in Alabama, but some of y'all shit is just backwards. Doesn't mean that y'all should be more like super liberal, because the liberals are stupid too. But Alabama is a little bit too backward in terms of not protecting women and not kind of dealing with these things and taking them seriously. However, I think that he can fight through, even though he can fight through that, I believe that in the court of public opinion, that's going to be his issue. I think the Lakers and the NBA and all the other teams in the league are going to basically conclude that, he's not really good enough, that we're going to ignore the fact that he was on the phone, recorded, threatening to put a bullet in somebody's head. Now, even if he said, I'm going to show up at your house and I'm going to smack the shit out of you. If he said something like that, even though that's a pretty egregious statement, I think they could get past that. But bullets in people's heads kind of really signifies that you're about a life, that there's an underbelly to your existence that is very, very sinister and very, very violent and very, very scary. So if I'm a coach or I'm a team owner and I've got, 12 guys on this team, I don't want to bring in a guy who is even in that headspace. Like, seriously, like, I don't know, tell me yes or no. Have any of you ever felt compelled, yes or no, to, have you ever felt compelled to tell somebody, I'm gonna come to your house and put a bullet in your head? Has that ever happened to any of you? Yes or no? Have any of you ever just got so pissed off, as a maybe pissed off at your baby mama and said, bitch, I'm gonna show up and put a bullet in your head? Or got mad at your dad and said, Dad, I was thinking about coming over here and blowing your brains out. I got a strap in the car, Pops. I'm gonna be over in about 20 minutes, right? If you don't give me what I want. Right? Has anybody ever, right? That ain't normal. That's not normal, bro. That makes people nervous around you, including big grown men. So I think that's going to be DeMarcus Cousins' big issue. And last thing I would say to anybody watching, and I don't know how people feel one way or the other. I can't care much about that. I can just tell you what I think and what I'm observing. Is that, when you run into these sorts of disputes, always remember that, you can't control what people do to you. You can't control what people do to you. But you can control how you respond. You can decide how you're going to respond. So because I can tell you, I mean, I'm not perfect. There have been times where I reacted in the wrong way, not to the bullet in the head level, but to the point where I let somebody else get me out of character, and my logic at the time was, well, they made me do this. They made me respond that way. You made me angry. And then I learned over time that nobody makes you do anything. You always choose. So if you punch a woman in the face and you say, well, she just made me mad, she made me have to hit her. No, she didn't make you have to do nothing. And same thing with ladies, like, oh, he made me do blah, blah, blah. He made me feel this way, no, you still get to choose how you respond. And so the reason it's important to understand that is because there are real implications. Like for him, this mistake is probably going to cost him $30 million or something, right? And you're right. Landon says his baby mama ain't shit, Doc. I agree. But remember, Demarcus chose her as his baby mama. So she ain't shit. Why are you sleeping with ain't shit ass women? Seriously, same thing. Everybody complain about their baby daddy. Remember, did nobody, unless he raped you, if he raped you, we need to go file a police report. But if your baby daddy ain't shit, then that means you have to figure out why do I pick ain't shit ass dudes to have babies with? Why would I do that? Why would I do something that stupid, right? But it's not stupid. The thing is, love makes you stupid. All of us have been stupid when it comes to love. All of us, make decisions where we look back and say, oh my God, what was I thinking? But at the end of the day, remember that what you say about the parent of your child is a reflection on you. What you say about your exes is a reflection on you. So always be thoughtful about what you say about your exes, because here, let me just break down like this. I had a friend who she was what I called a love addict. A love addict is a term I got from a book I read a long time ago called Love Addicts. And basically a love addict is somebody who loves falling in love. Like the first 6 to 9 months, and you probably know people like this, who the first 6 to 9 months of a relationship, they're really in it. They're excited. It's fresh and new. It's the best thing in the world, best sex, best whatever, right? And then about 6 to 9 months in, the phenylethylamine and dopamine starts to wear off. And then suddenly all the things that you overlook suddenly start to bother you. You start to feel like, oh, well, I can't stand it. I hate it when she does it. I hate it when he does it, right? So that's what she would do. She would fall in love about twice a year. And each time the new guy was the solution. The new guy was he's the answer to her prayers. He's the one. He's better than that old piece of shit motherfucker I just got rid of. He's the one. He's the one. He's the one. And I'd be like, oh, really? So tell me about him, right? And then in my mind, I started noticing the pattern. I was like, okay, so in about 6 to 9 months, she'll be calling me, telling me about a new guy. Like if I talked to her in March and then talked to her again in November, and it was the same man, I would always be surprised. I'd be like, what? Same dude? Wow. Because I knew it wasn't going to be the same guy. And so here's the thing, though. I watched her go. I would always watch her go from he's so great, he's so wonderful, blah, 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 to, oh, he ain't shit, he's a terrible person. Let me tell you how bad he is. Let me tell you, blah, blah, blah. And I remember kind of thinking, like, it made her look silly. It made her look like a person. Eventually I didn't take her seriously anymore. I didn't take her relationships seriously. I didn't take her when she told me a guy was a good guy. I didn't believe her. I'd be like, yeah, he's a good guy until he pisses you off. And then 8 months later, he's going to be a piece of shit. Right? There was no consistency in terms of her behavior because she didn't understand how, when you're constantly going from I love her to I hate her, she's a bitch. It kind of just makes you look like a little bit ridiculous because people can't go back and forth with you on that. Like either I believe you when you tell me they're a good person, or I believe you when you tell me they're a bad person. And what's really bad is when they go from good person to bad person to good person to bad person. You ever see that where somebody breaks up with somebody when they're breaking up with them, they're telling you all the business and how terrible they are, and then a week later they get back together, they're having makeup sex again, they expect you to start liking that person again, and you're like, no, I still remember what you told me 5 days ago. I remember I had a friend that called me one day and was all excited about her engagement. This is when I was like 29, about Demarcus's age. And she was all excited. She was like, I got it. He proposed. And I was like, but wait a minute. 5 days ago, you told me that he was a piece of shit, that you can't stand him. Why would you marry a person that is as bad as the guy that you were talking to me about last week? That doesn't even make any sense. So the thing is, love makes us look stupid. It makes us look illogical. And I think by looking in the mirror, you can kind of see how crazy you look when you start talking shit about the people you used to be with. So just remember that when first of all, 2 things. One, the person you have a child with, whether you love them or hate them, they are sacred for you. They are sacred for you because without them, your child would not exist. So if you love your child, you must have some type of love for them, even if you can't stand them. You must show some type of respect for them, even if you don't want them in your house ever again, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is the way you talk about, at least this is what I figured out, that the way I talk about my exes is a reflection of me. Why? Well, because every woman I ever chose is a reflection of something inside of me that made me choose her and not her. Right. So if you hear me talk about my exes, I got some bad ones. I can tell you stories all day about terrible choices I've made throughout the years, but you'll never hear me spend a lot of time trying to convince you that she was just a worthless, complete, total piece of shit, because that makes me look dumb as hell. That makes me look, because you're going to be like, well, Boyce, why didn't you notice all these terrible things about her? Oh, well, because she was pretending and people fool you, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that means I'm easily fooled. No, I knew what I was getting into. And so the best response you can usually have, I think, is to say, you know, she's a good person, but we just didn't get along. Or once this thing kind of evolved, I was like, no, I can't deal with that. But she's all right. I wish her the best. I think she's gonna be, she's good, you know, she's a good woman. A great man's gonna pick her up one day, right? So but it takes time to get to that point, right? So I think with DeMarcus, long story short, to just end the conversation on DeMarcus Cousins, I will say that I feel bad for him. I do. I think, you know, somebody mentioned, like, if you come from that life and that's how things get handled, that's fine. But you know, you have to kind of understand, like, you know, like they say, you could take the black man out the ghetto, right? But you know, and you got to realize you're in a new environment. You're playing a new game now. Like, you can't play the new game the way you played the old game. And I also think that there might be some arrogance in there too. You know, like, I can get away with anything and I can do anything, and there aren't going to be any repercussions. And that's just not true either. Never get to the point where you don't think that you can't be handled or checked, or that you can't be held accountable for the things that you say or the things that you do. So I don't excuse it. I don't think it's okay. I think it's bad. I think he deserves to be punished. But what I think is also going to happen, though, which I don't agree with, is I think the lynch mobs are coming. I think that white America, they hate black men in general. They fear black men. They want to destroy black men. They want all of us dead. And I believe that what's going to happen is his punishment is going to exceed what it should be. And then, like, it's going to be seen in a way where he's not redeemable. He's worthless. Like Ray Rice, when they did that to Ray Rice with the whole situation with his wife, I personally felt like Ray Rice should have been severely punished, but I didn't see any reason why Ray Rice should never be allowed to make money playing football ever again. I didn't like that. I'm not a fan of cancel culture. I'm a fan of redemption culture. I'm a fan of just saying, look, you know, fix it, make it right. Like Michael Vick. Michael Vick paid a huge price for dogfighting. Michael Vick redeemed himself. God bless him. He got a chance to get back in the NFL. He deserved that. He deserved that. You know, anybody who thinks a person's life should be ended because of one mistake, you know, those are just bad people. I don't agree with you on that. I think that that's wrong. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to go hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget, All Black National Convention happens at the end of September. So you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com to learn more. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Also, if you want to learn to buy your first share of stock, if you want to be an investor, go to blackmoney100.com. There's a free training on how to buy your first share of stock. That's blackmoney100.com. And then if you haven't checked out the Black Business School, you should certainly check that out. We have enrollment specialists right there waiting to talk to you and to talk about your plans and what you'd like to do and how we can help you. So feel free to check out theblackbusinessschool.com. THE, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.